Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Virginia Council on the Interstate Compact on Educational Opportunity for Military Children. We're bringing our November meeting to order, and I'd like to thank those on the call and those in the room for joining us today. At this time, we are awaiting a couple of our members before we have a quorum, and so we cannot take any action items. But we do have a group of students that want to present to us, and just in case our other guests do arrive, I want them to be able to see our students. And so I'm going to use the chairman's privilege to reorder our agenda a little bit because we can't vote on the agenda either. But what I would like to do is start with public comment and give an opportunity for anyone from the public to make comment. And then after public comment, I would like to turn it to our students, and then we'll see if a few more members arrive. Welcome.
Amy.
We need one more member to have quorum, and we will get started. And so, but in the meantime, Senator Locke, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. In the meantime, I'd like to open the floor for public comment. Is there anyone who would like to make public comment? Anyone signed up, Mr. Dunham?
No.
Okay, we'll close public comment. Then with that, we will turn to our first agenda item that is not an action item. We're not allowed to take action at this time. And we have a school support highlight from W.T. Wilson High School. Sorry, is it written wrong on my sheet? Woodson. Sorry, it's written wrong on my sheet. Next, I'd like to introduce Adrian Wood, school counselor from W.T. Woodson High School. It is written correctly there, I apologize. Located in Fairfax, Virginia. Woodson High School received their Purple Star designation in the fall of 2019. Ms. Wood is accompanied by two Woodson students, Ms. Abby Hammond, who is W.T. Woodson student ambassador, and Elisa McMillan, who is a military-connected student, and a member of the W.T. Woodson's Operation Patriot Club. They're here today to share about their work in peer transition support. Welcome, everyone, and Ms. Wood, you have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you great.
Great. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. We're really excited to be here. And we are, as a school, very proud that we earned the Purple Star designation. Woodson really loves and values our military students and families. And we feel that it is very important to help ease the transition of new military students, recognizing that this group of students may have additional challenges due to frequent moves, deployment of a parent, and so on. We really strive to make the transition to Woodson an easy one and try to be very welcoming to our military students. We provide individualized attention and resources to these students and parents. This group of students adds such a richness to our student population because they have such a diverse level of experience and travel, and they have such an interesting perspective, and they're just a really resilient and motivated and great group of kids to work with. So I am a school counselor, as you mentioned. I'm also the military family liaison and the club sponsor for the Student Ambassador Club at Woodson. Some of the things that we have done to help transition and welcome our military families, of which we have 273 this year. We also have about 25 new families to Woodson for this school year, and that is out of our total student population of about 2,400 students. So we have a pretty decent number of military families. We have done a number of things. COVID has sort of put a damper on some of the things that we've been able to do, but in the past, we have had a military family welcoming night in conjunction with our CTFO. We have had pizza lunches for our new military students. We have had, during COVID, a welcome drive-through. We made signs and connected with the Blue Star Families organization to provide welcome packages. So we've done a number of things to help ease the transition. During the school year, we have created for this year an advisory period, which is our flex period. That's comprised of all of our new military students. so that we can provide direct support to that group of students during the school day. So we have a number of things in place. Additionally, we have coordinated with our military parent liaison and Blue Star families and other outside organizations to provide outdoor activities during the summer, which was some tours of DC, walking tours of DC and Old Town Alexandria. So we are working to continue those activities. And with that, I'm going to let Abby tell you a little bit about our ambassador program, which is relatively new. So I'll let her fill you in on what we're doing with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Wood. Hi, my name is Abby Hammond. I'm a junior this year at Woodson and a proud Air Force brat. I have moved 11 times, and Woodson is the second high school I've attended. One of the reasons I felt most welcome at Woodson was I moved to Virginia in between my freshman and my sophomore year, which moving to a new high school can already be pretty intimidating. However, I also moved during the height of the pandemic, so any of the regular resources that I had used before were not available to me. I couldn't go into my classrooms. I couldn't talk with any other students in classes or at lunch. But Woodson put on a bunch of amazing events that really helped me feel welcome. One of those was a student lunch bunch or a military student check-in throughout the year, which was just a breakout room where all the new students could gather for lunch and turn their cameras on in a breakout room and talk and just have regular discussions just like it would be at a regular lunch. And that just really helped me feel welcome and connected. And that was one of the major reasons why I wanted to be a part of making sure other students feel welcome and like they have a place at Woodson. So like Ms. Wood said, I'm a co-president of the Woodson Ambassadors Club, whose main goal is to help ease the transition for new students and really just make sure that they feel like they belong at Woodson and have a place. So we have officially 26 members that consist both of military connected and non-military connected students who just have the collective goal of reaching out to new military students and helping them with their ease of transition and finding a place. So some of the events we've done before COVID, like Ms. Wood said, we're offering free pizza lunches on the first 2 days of school, just for the new military kids to meet people, have friendly faces, as well as distributing welcome packets for the first day so that they could have people to reach out to as they arrive, and a local pizza party alongside our Blue Star families so that they could meet outside of school as well and continue their relationships. Some events, we had to get a little inventive during COVID, just like everywhere else. We wrote handwritten welcome notes to all the new students and delivered those during our third period advisory class, just to let them know that we're here for them and in their corner if they need to reach out with anything. We worked with our military parent liaison and Blue Star families to arrange outdoor activities like walking tours through Old Town Alexandria and Washington, D.C., which was just a really nice environment for the students to meet outside of a screen and be teenagers together. We held virtual lunch bunches, which were student check-ins to make sure everybody was doing okay throughout the year. Some things that we envision for our program to develop into will be providing building tours at the beginning of the school year, during the summer, and then throughout the year as students arrive. And this is so the students can see where their classes are, get to know the layout of the school, learn where their lockers are, how to open their lockers, all that really good stuff to know when you go into a new school. Providing an ambassador buddy or buddies for the first week of school. This is where we can pair up an ambassador from our program with a new military student to kind of tag along with that new student and meet them in between classes and help them find their next class so they don't get lost in the wild transition of a high school. We want to provide lunch buddies for the first week of school. As you guys can probably imagine, lunch is definitely the worst part for a new military student, having to brave going into the lunchroom and stressing about who to ask to sit with. So we really want to take some of that stress away and have a friendly face there for the student already, for them to sit with them and their friends and feel welcome in that group. We want to hold bi-weekly lunch bunches for the first quarter where we can just check in with the students continuously, see how they're doing, see how Woodson is being welcoming, and see what we can do for them. We want to hold back to school events in August so that they have connections as soon as they enter. They have people to look to, people to sit with. And we'd also like to have reach outs before any school events, any football games, tailgates, pep rallies, just so that they know what those are about and so that they can feel connected in participating in those events. We want to have social events per quarter, just so we're constantly checking in with them. So for our first quarter this year, we paired with Operation Patriot for a Halloween tree grab and go, where the new military students could come in, grab a little Halloween snack, say hi, have a little conversation. For quarter two, we want to put on a winter social event where we can just celebrate the change in season and getting through the first semester together. And for Month of the Military Child, which falls in our third quarter, we are really excited to highlight our new military students. We want to interview them for our school's morning news program. We want to contribute a school-wide Purple Up Day for recognition of what they've been through in our school and to make them feel a part of Woodson and that they're appreciated in our school community. And in our fourth quarter, we want to have an end of the year celebration where we check in with the students and see what we could have done better and just continue to grow the program into what it can become. I'm going to pass you over to Lisa, who's a fellow student. Good morning. My name is Elisa McLaurin, and I'm a junior here at Woodson High School. Both of my parents are Army veterans, and my dad is still on active duty and works at the Pentagon for the Secretary of the Army, and my mom served her commitment in the Army and now works at the State Department. I was born in Okinawa, Japan, and have lived half of my life overseas and attended over 10 schools all over the world. Woodson was very welcoming to me when I first arrived and offered many opportunities for new military students, such as lunch bunches, as Abby mentioned, and having tours around our school. I'm co-president of Operation Patriot, a club that honors those who served and have served our country and to support those heroes and their families. This year, we had many events around the community and partnered on projects with the Woodson ambassadors. Examples of some of our volunteer projects are laying wreaths at Arlington National Cemetery, a Halloween treat event. We wrote Veterans Day cards for service members overseas, and finally hosted a Veterans Day breakfast for both military children and their parents. When I delivered the Veterans Day cards this year to the USO at Fort Belvoir, I met with the field program specialist who was willing to partner with Woodson to assist our club with running other events along with recognizing military children during the Month of the Military Child. As an Army brat, I know what it feels like to move around and the challenge of making new friends. The events and opportunities available at Woodson provided me with a resource that made my transition to Woodson so much easier and also provided me with an opportunity to make new friends and made me feel welcome. Thank you.
We're clapping loudly in here if you can't hear. But
Amazing.
thank you, Ms. Wood. Anything else you want to share in closing? Because I know the council will want to ask a lot of questions and share comments as well. But I wanted to turn it over to you one last time.
I first want to say to the girls, they did a great job speaking, and I appreciate your help today. And as Abby sort of referenced, our ambassador program is still new and growing. So we are open to suggestions and ideas, and we are excited to have the opportunity to grow our program and work with Operation Patriot to try to provide another layer of support for our military students and families. So I'm open to questions and happy to answer anything that I can today.
Well, thank you all so much. And to Abby and Elisa, I just want to say a huge thank you for being with us today, for sharing the story about your transitions, but also the incredible work that you're doing to support other students in your school that are going through transitions. I really learned a lot today, and I want to thank you. Council members, Mr. Whelan?
Yeah, first of all, Abby and Elisa, 21 moves between the two of you. That's amazing, and the fact that you were so articulate and just such great ambassadors for your school, it's heartwarming, and I just want to thank you. You do a whole to call yourself brats doesn't work. You're amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Whelan. And for council members, if your green light has to be on for them to hear you. So I just want to make sure you know that when you want to speak. Any other council members? Yes.
Abby and Elisa, Kathleen Jebs, I'm just so grateful for you. I raised 2 military children myself, and they didn't have anything like this. So it's, we definitely are, I took a lot of notes, and we'll be taking them back to our secretariat, and we want to share this with other schools around the Commonwealth. Just fantastic job today. I feel so motivated just listening to you.
Dr. Brown?
Abby and Elisa, you all are amazing. I want to thank you for looking out for your peers and making your school the school that you all want it to be. So great job. Continue the great work.
Well, I don't want to make you think I don't think you're wonderful, because I do. I'm Delegate Nancy Guy. I was raised a proud Navy junior, but I only moved 4 times. I feel like such a biker. I was the youngest, so there was lots of moves that happened before me. But thank you so much for what you're doing to help your friends and peers socially integrate. I wanted to ask you real quick if you could give us any advice on educational transitions that you have found especially challenging, because that's one thing we deal with curricular irregularities between jurisdictions, et cetera. Is there anything you'd like to highlight for us that you have found particularly challenging and would like to see us address?
I definitely saw a difference. Like when I moved from California to here, there was a definitely big difference between the ways that people teach. And it's just something like you have to get used to. I definitely like use my parents as a resource and like use the resources at the school like tutors, and that like really helped me transition. Oh yeah, for me, I've been to Dodea schools, I've been to international schools, I've been to public schools. So really the difference in teaching and the difference in curriculums is very interesting. And it's just something that we may have to work a little bit harder, but it pays off in the end.
Thank you. Well, I think that is all of our questions. So I just want to say a thank you to all 3 of you for joining us. Really appreciate you being at the council meeting, and good luck with the rest of your school year.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. We called our meeting to order, but now we have our quorum and we can begin to transact business. I want to welcome all members of the council. I did have a few opening remarks when everyone was here, and so I'll start with that. And just first, I want to say a thank you to all our veterans. Veterans Day was yesterday, and so thank you to all members of our Commonwealth and our nation for your service to our country. Then the other thing is the council had asked for us to keep you updated on the status of school reopening, and I'm pleased to say that as of September 20th, every school in the Commonwealth has reopened for in-person learning for any student that chooses it. We do still have some students choosing virtual for a variety of reasons, mostly safety related, but certainly all of our schools are open and have been since the beginning of the school year. We had one school division, Highland County, that did not open the day after Labor Day, which is the traditional start date. Several started before Labor Day. Highland waited 2 more weeks, and on September 20th, they did open up. So with that, I'll jump us into transacting some business here. The first is the approval of minutes. You have the draft minutes from our last meeting on April 20th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Willen, second by Dr. Brown. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, the minutes are approved. Thank you very much. And I'm going to skip over our second item, which was our student highlight, which we just had, which is great. Next, Mr. Dunham will present the list of schools nominated for the 21-22 Purple Star Designation Award. Mr. Dunham, please proceed.
Okay, great. Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. We had quite a few schools this year, which is, to be expected. People came through COVID and schools were up and running and things were moving smoothly. So they had more time to get their applications completed and put in because they weren't so sidetracked with trying to manage the COVID response at their school level. So these are the folks who assisted this year with the reviewing of the applications. These are members of the MISPAT. That's not all the members, but I would like to thank these folks officially for assisting us with reviewing the applications and presenting and getting together the nominations for you to see today. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to go through these by school division. We do have 91 schools to go through, so it may take me a second to go through these. I do want to point out that on the first column, those with a yes next to their names are schools that have or will be receiving their second Purple Star Designation Award. So this is our first cycle for Purple Star Designation renewal. And so those schools will have, if voted by you all, we'll make a special acknowledgement of that on communications and award materials to those schools. So let me begin to read the list. So we have Butts Road Intermediate, Camelot Elementary School, Cedar Road Elementary School, Crestwood Intermediate School, Deep Creek Central Elementary School, Deep Creek Elementary, Deep Creek High School, Edwin W. Chittum Elementary, G.A. Treckle Elementary School, Georgetown Primary, Grassfield Elementary School, Grassfield High School, Great Bridge Intermediate, Great Bridge Primary, Greenbrier Primary School, Hickory High School, Hickory Middle School, Indian River High School, Oscar F. Smith High School, Rena B. Wright Primary, Southeastern Elementary, Southwestern Elementary School, Sparrow Road Intermediate, Thurgood Marshall Elementary, Truett Intermediate, West Branch High School, Western Branch Intermediate, Western Branch Primary School. And then for Chesterfield, we have just one school, Hopkins Road Elementary School. Again, second award for that school. And then for Fairfax County Public Schools, we have Cameron Elementary School, Fairview Elementary School, Flint Hill Elementary School, Fort Belvoir Primary, Fort Belvoir Elementary School, Hunt Valley Elementary School, Island Creek Elementary School, Ravensworth Elementary, Sangster Elementary, Waynewood Elementary School, and Claremont Elementary School. And then for Loudoun County, we have two schools, Brambleton Middle School and River Bend Middle School. For Newport News, we have one school, General Stafford Elementary School. And for Norfolk Public Schools, we have Bayview Elementary, Granby High School, Mary Calcott Elementary, Norview High School, Tarleton Elementary School, Bayview Elementary School, Granby High School, Mary Calcott Elementary School, which I think is on there twice, sorry about that. Norview, I guess it's all repeating. So the last one though, Larry Moore Elementary School. And then for Prince William County Public Schools, Ashland Elementary School, George Tyler Elementary School, Mary Porter Traditional School, and Parkside Middle School. And then for Spotsylvania County Public Schools, Parkside Elementary School. And for Stafford County Public Schools, Conway Elementary School, Falmouth Elementary School, Rocky Run Elementary. And then for Virginia Beach City Public Schools. A number of these schools really were up for their second award next year, but I think they wanted to get an early jump on applying again this year. So I felt like we'd go ahead and do that. They wanted to do it earlier than normal. Bayside Elementary School, Brandon Middle School, College Park Elementary School, Corporate Landing Elementary School, Diamond Springs Elementary School, Fairfield Elementary School, Floyd E. Killam High School, Great Neck Middle School, Green Run Elementary School, Hermitage Elementary School, Kempsville Elementary School, Kempsville High School, Kinston Elementary School, Linkhorn Park Elementary School, Malibu Elementary School, Newtown Elementary School, North Landing Elementary School, Parkway Elementary School, Princess Anne High School, Shelton Park Elementary School, Tallwood Elementary School, Virginia Beach Middle School, W.T. Cook Elementary School, White Oaks Elementary School, Windsor Woods Elementary School, and Woodstock Elementary School. And then for Yorktown schools, we have Coventry Elementary School, Grafton Bethel Elementary School, Magruder Elementary School, and Tabb Middle School. And then here are your private school listings: Alexandra County Day School, Norfolk Collegiate School, Our Lady of Mount Carmel School, and St. Gregory the Great Catholic School. And that concludes the list of Purple Star schools. And so, Kevin, if you can just take us back to the agenda, that'd be great.
Okay, well, council members, you have been presented with the list of schools nominated for this year's award. Is there a motion to approve the list of schools as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Willens, second by Senator Locke, I think I heard first. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Well, just a huge congratulations to all of these school communities. It is our honor to have all of those schools approved and to acknowledge your hard work and dedication in the effort to support our military students and their families. We appreciate everything that all of you do in your school communities to make our students feel so welcomed. And I'm just so proud that our Purple Star designation continues to grow. We do vote on these typically now, and then the celebrations usually happen throughout the year, but especially in April during Military Child Month. And so we will make council members aware as schools host celebrations. And if there's one in your community or one you're willing to travel to, you're always welcome. But any comments or questions or thoughts from council members? Okay, well, congratulations to all of those schools. Thank you all so much. Our next item is a policy consideration for the council. We have not typically adopted policies, but there's one that seems really pertinent, and that is a discussion of virtual meeting attendance of council members. And the pandemic has made it clear that that's something that we should discuss, and then even travel arrangements will get in the way sometimes, and a couple of our council members could have attended virtually today that could not come in person. But we do have to have a quorum present before we can assemble for the virtual members. So the council does not yet have a policy that would permit our members to attend virtually, although members are permitted to do so under the Code of Virginia, 2.2-3708.2. We have drafted a policy for your consideration, which is in your packet behind the minutes. And this is the policy that mirrors the one used by the Virginia Board of Education for this purpose. Please take a moment to read over the policy, and then I would like to answer any questions. And Mr. Dunham, I know that you helped draft this as well, so if you'll help me answer any questions. Because the policy is somewhat lengthy, I thought it may be best with individuals potentially watching from home for full transparency. Whereas I would typically not do this, I will read it so that it's made public. So the policy would be as such. And Dan, I assume that on the Military Council website you'll post the policy on there if it's approved. Okay. It is the policy of the Virginia Council on the Interstate Compact on the Educational Opportunity of Military Children that individual council and committee members may participate in meetings of the council and its committees by electronic means as permitted by 2.2-3708.2 of the Code of Virginia. Participation shall include, but is not limited to, voting rights on all matters. The policy shall apply to the entire membership and without regard to the identity of the member requesting remote participation or the matters that will be considered or voted on at the meeting. The policy shall apply to regular and special meetings of the council, standing and special committee meetings of the council. When an individual member wishes to participate from a remote location, the law requires a quorum of the public body to be physically assembled at the primary or central meeting location, and there must be arrangements for the voice of the remote participant to be heard by all persons at the primary or central meeting location. The reason that the member is unable to attend the meeting and the remote location from which the member participates must be recorded in the meeting minutes. However, the remote location need not be open to the public. When such individual participation is due to a personal matter, under 2.2-3708.2A1B, such participation is limited by law to 2 meetings or 25% of the meetings of the public body per member each calendar year, rounded up to the next whole number, whichever is greater. Individual participation from a remote location shall be approved unless participation would violate this policy or provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. If the public body disapproves a member's participation from a remote location because such participation would violate this policy, such disapproval shall be recorded in the minutes with specificity. I'm pausing because I think the 25% throws me off in terms of whether that applies when we only have 2 meetings a year. So I'm going to make a this is the board, so we just copied it, the Virginia Board of Education's. I'm going to recommend that we just leave the language to say such participation is limited to by law to 2 meetings. Oh, that's exactly a copy from the law. So we'll have to get advice on how to apply that, but I think we leave it as is, and then we'll discuss with the Office of the Attorney General how that applies when there are only 2 meetings a year. But I don't want to change what's in the code in our policy. Any other questions? Sorry about that. I was just thinking through that as we read that. Any other questions about the policy?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
On yesterday, the FOIA Council met and will be putting forward legislation that's doing a complete overhaul of electronic meetings policy. It incorporates some of this language, particularly since the emergency order was lifted regarding electronic meetings. And it addresses non-emergency situations and the possibility for doing electronic meetings in non-emergency, now that we no longer have that. And so that legislation will be going forward in the 2021 session. And because we wanted to make it more uniform for localities, the state, everybody's meetings. So, and I think only 2 or 3 people voted against it yesterday in the FOIA Council. So, so there is the expectation that we can get that done. And it does incorporate quite a bit of this language.
Great. Thank you for that information, Senator Locke. Well, Mr. Dunham and I will commit to when we get back together in April, that should be post-session, we'll bring the new language back, but with whatever revisions are necessary to this policy. So thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, well, I'll just make one comment. I think it's a good idea for us to allow virtual participation. You know, we have a large state, and, you know, even as we seek members, sometimes some members will not join the council because of the length of drive. And if we can find ways to be flexible on some of our meetings, I think it's a good thing. So with that, is there a motion to approve the policy as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Willen, second by Senator Locke. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you all very much. Okay. That is all of our business. We do have now some updates from our military student and family specialist. So next, Mr. Dunham will introduce Virginia's new military school liaison officers, update the council on proceedings of the annual business meeting of the Military Children's Compact Commission, and provide a review of some of the virtual supports that have been provided to military students. Mr. Dunham.
Great, thanks. Right, so we have a few school liaison officers new to our ranks in the state of Virginia, and then one who's, I don't have his name up here, but he's here today, so I'd probably like to just introduce him in person. The first individual is an assignment. Now we're going to have 2 school liaison officers assigned to serve the families associated with Marine Corps Base Quantico. So this is Miss Kimberly Simpson. She's a 24-year veteran teacher. She's connected to the Navy, the Air Force, and Marine Corps installations throughout her career. She's currently a spouse of someone who works for NCIS for the Department of Defense. She's moved 7 different times in the 20 years with 2 children, so she really understands the complexities that these families go through as they transition around. Both her children, she's happy to report, are thriving in college. One's a senior and one's a sophomore. And so she says that though they are not necessarily a military family, the children, currently, the children have grown up on and around military installations for most of their lives. And all her teaching career was with military-connected students, 7 in Dodea. And so she's well aware of the highs and lows that military life brings, and she's happy to have the honor of supporting them in this endeavor. So she will be partnering with Penny Raleigh, and Penny is out on maternity leave. So we're really glad that Kim came on board before Penny had to take off for that. The next person we have on as a school liaison officer that I'd like to introduce, hopefully it will show up. Can we go to the next slide here? It's Melissa Nutter. I'll come back to Ms. Johnson in a minute. Melissa serves as the school liaison officer for Joint Expeditionary Base in Little Creek. And she currently, and also Fort Story, she supports military families in Virginia Beach City Public Schools alongside Debbie Patch, who is in the audience today, who's at Naval Air Station Oceana. Melissa has been a Navy spouse for 11 years and has 2 children, ages 5 and 6, and she began her career working with military-connected families in 2015 as a certified Navy child development home provider. These are folks that help place or take care of kids out of their houses that the Navy hires out. And so this was when she was at Naval Air Station Whitingfield in Milton, Florida. She has since worked as a Navy child development at home monitor and a child development center director and a CYP training and curriculum specialist. So all in the world of Navy CYP there. And now as a Navy school liaison officer. And because of her personal connection to the military and being a military parent to military children, she is passionate about working with military-connected families and students to ensure that they receive the same quality educational opportunities as their peers, and she looks forward to supporting military families residing in Virginia Beach for years to come. And now we'll go back to Melissa Johnson. So Melissa is a seasoned school liaison officer. She's now serving as a school liaison officer for Naval Weapons Station Yorktown. I first met Mrs. Johnson when she was the Navy regional school liaison officer in Hawaii. And when I was the school liaison officer up at Joint Base Anacostia Bowling and serving in the National Capital Region. So I know her to be really sharp and very capable to do this job. She has been a military spouse who has raised 3 children through 17 different moves. She says here that I have personally observed many of the concerns that the families call me about, and the compact, though not perfect, has, she believes, leveled the playing field for this generation of children. She holds a Master's of Education degree, and she has worked in the Child and Youth Program for over 5 years. So her past experiences include working in non-for-profit program management, social work, and training. And she feels that that also adds a different dimension for the kind of services she can provide for her family. So very happy to have Melissa on board, and she, again, very capable, and I know Yorktown is very pleased to have her. So I'd like to move on now and kind of give you an update of what took place at the Military Children's Compact Commission annual business meeting. So we were expecting all commissioners across all 50 states in the District of Columbia a vote to be brought forward on whether or not we were going to expand compact eligibility for Guard and Reserve members under Title 32 or by activation of the state governor That did not take place. During the discussion, it was decided by the chair that they would table this decision until the next annual business meeting. And all I can explain to you is that it appears that some of the commissioners felt they didn't have the information that they needed when they met with their councils to talk about the options in depth that were available to them, and to decide on how to move forward. Those options included, adopting a compact inside the compact language, or adopting an amendment outside the compact language, or not doing anything as a state, or deciding to, tabling it for another time, or something of that nature. So there are lots of different options, and there was some confusion about all of that. And again, some of the commissioners didn't bring it before their councils, and so weren't prepared, they felt, to vote on it. So they decided to table it. Now, we've been working on this issue for 3 years in Virginia. And we had, as a council, if you recall, made the decision that we liked the option of putting it as an amendment outside of the compact, because as you recall, we talked about if you open up the compact, it makes it more likely that other states may want to change things in the compact, and then or pull out of the compact altogether. And we certainly didn't want that to happen. We felt like the easiest thing to do is to move forward with the suggestion that it be put outside of the compact. So that's how I was prepared to vote. And so, again, we didn't get to do that. And I hope we get to do it the next business meeting, but again, I'm not really sure. And I do know that we have it, the agency's prepared to share which pieces of legislation we'd like to see the governorship work on the next General Assembly session. So whether it remains in there or not, I'm not certain, but we'll have to wait and see. Any questions about that particular item? Okay. We are going to be hosting this annual business meeting in 2023. So we're looking forward to that. Virginia will hold it in the year after next. And all of these members will be here in Virginia somewhere. And we haven't decided where yet. And you'll get to see how that runs. And hopefully some of you will be able to attend and see and meet some of the members of that body. That's pretty much all I think that I'd like to share out of the annual business meeting that's of importance to us. Anyway, moving on. So the last meeting, we had a couple of folks. I think Dr. Baylor asked if we could get the numbers of military-connected children who were actually attending programming through Virtual Virginia, and the answer to that is we cannot. Virtual Virginia does not track which students are military-connected students. We'd have to work backwards on that, and maybe ask the school division, see if they could pull up that information and say, out of the students you have attending Virtual Virginia programs, which are military-connected. So we're going to work on that, but we just don't have that available for you at this time. It's more difficult to get a hold of that data than I expected. But I will share with you that Virtual Virginia does continue to support our military-connected families, even during mid-year transitions. Sometimes we have military-connected children that come into a school division that doesn't offer a certain course, or perhaps they're coming into a school division that's on a 4x4 or not on a 4x4, and they were coming from a 4x4, and so they need to finish up a course or something like that, or whatever, vice versa. Virtual Virginia steps in and assists, and they've never, not once, allowed something like that to happen. And most school divisions know that they can work with Virtual Virginia to assist these students. There have been a few military families that came in August and July of this year who really needed, for hardship reasons and medical reasons, their students to attend school virtually, and that wasn't offered in their local school division. And Virtual Virginia was able to step in just a few cases to support the enrollment of those military-connected students. Again, their parents or someone in their family had medical concerns where this was really vital. And so I'm very pleased that they had that flexibility in place for our military-connected families. And I know that was hard for a lot of folks. So our military families appreciated being able to do that. And then that's pretty much it. Any questions about virtual Virginia and what we're doing? Yeah.
Not really virtual Virginia. I was going to say also there's still virtual assistance for students. Military, tutor.com still provides free services to our children. Which is
Absolutely,
really,
yes. We have
take advantage of that. It's a really good thing for our children. So
yes, tutor. Yeah. Tutor.com continues to be there at supporting our military connected students all over the world with tutoring support and assistance. Okay. All right. Moving on. So looking ahead, we're now at a different phase. I mentioned this during the April meeting that we had conversations with with Old Dominion University about creating a training module that focused on supporting the social and emotional needs of military-connected children. I'm happy to report that I'm now taking another step and applying for a grant to make that happen. And so we'll wait and see what the outcome is on getting that grant and moving forward on that. We're in conversation with the regional school liaison officer, myself, and then the Office of Family Engagement here at the agency about conducting a SLO and EFMP training to be planned this winter. We want to kind of bring them up to speed on things we have going on in the agency and just make sure that we're there to reconnect them. After coming through COVID, it's a good time to bring everyone back together. Like again, we have new faces and everyone needs to sort of, have an opportunity to do that. So we hope to make that happen sometime this winter coming up. Are any questions about some of the things that I presented today?
Council members, any questions for Mr. Dunham?
Okay.
Thank you for being
Kevin,
with us.
can you return to the agenda, please?
All right, next on our agenda is public comment. I know we held that at the beginning as we rearranged our calendar, but I want to open the floor if there are any additional individuals that would like to make public comment. Seeing nobody rushing the microphone, we will close public comment. Council.
I neglected to, can I take this opportunity to bring Alonzo?
Please come to the microphone.
Alonzo, could you come on up? Sorry. So this is Alonzo Hay, and he is the new school liaison officer at Joint Base Anacostia Bowling. When I sat down, I just remembered I hadn't introduced him. So ladies and gentlemen, Alonzo, you can tell him a little bit about yourself. That'd be great.
Okay, how you doing? My name is Alonzo Hay, and I'm recently taking over for Miss Kim Crutchfield, who will be retiring. So I'll be the new Joint Base Anacostia Bowling School Liaison Officer. I've been working with Child and Youth Services for about 10 years. Previous to that, I did in-home counseling for troubled teens, and then I worked as a behavioral aide in an elementary school. So I've been a trainer as of now for about 3 years at JBAB, and I'm currently going to move into the school liaison position. So thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, excited to have you.
I appreciate you letting me do that, sir.
No problem. And I'll tell you what, it would be beneficial to me. I know we see everybody every month and we get introduced, but I think the more times I hear and see your names, the better I'll get to know everybody. You don't have to come to the microphone, but if you will, I'd love for you to just introduce yourself and remind us which base you work most closely with, or even which school division.
Well, good morning. So I'm Chris Hendricks. I'm the new regional school liaison for Mid-Atlantic region, so based out of Norfolk, and cover the 11 school liaisons there from Virginia up to Maine and over to Great Lakes.
Thank you.
Morning, Dr. Lane and council members. My name is Jeff McGee, retired Virginia school principal, DOD school principal, school liaison representing Chesapeake, where with this slate of schools, 100% of 45 schools are now Purple Star. So I'm excited to be here and happy to be in this role.
Dr. McGee, I did not recognize you behind the mask. What has it been, 3-4 years probably? Great to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Hi, Debbie Patch, the liaison now over at NA Associana. So I was regional for a number of years, and now I'm over at NA Associana. Good to see everyone.
Welcome.
My name is Melissa Nutter. I am the new school liaison over at JP Little Creek 4-Story.
We saw your name on and lights on the screen.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that was you, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Horace Franklin. I'm the Regional School Liaison Officer, Chris's equivalent for Naval District, Washington. We have Northern VA and Dahlgren in Prince George's County. So again, it's a lot of movement from Northern VA to Maryland to Virginia. So we try to keep going current about what's going on in the Virginia school systems.
Thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate seeing you here. Well, our last item is, before we go into closed session, is an open discussion. This is usually a time where you can voice any ideas, concerns, questions, but also make recommendations for what you would like to see on the next agenda. So with that, I'll open the floor. Mr. Willen.
Well, I just wanted to, Dr. Lane, thank you and Mr. Dunham, because we had talked at the last April meeting about having families or children come speak to the council, and certainly having Woodson come through. I thought that was just a highlight of today.
Thank you. And we'll make sure to do that each time. Any other feedback? Secretary Jabs?
First, sorry for being late. I hope I didn't hold up the agenda too much. I had another virtual thing that went long. But I wanted to commend Mr. Dunham put together a military signing day back in the spring. And there were several high schools and ROTC units which were able to come and just be recognized rather than just for being sports for students enlisting in the military. And I would love to see that expand or continue. I just came back from an Association of Defense Communities conference, and some of the states do even wider, and bigger acknowledgments of that. So just want to put that out there. And thank you, Mr. Dunham, for coordinating that.
Yeah, and we're excited to continue that on into the future and continue to think about ways to make it even bigger so that Virginia can be the best.
We need to beat Ohio. They're really good at it.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Well, that closes open discussion. We are going to enter into closed session, but because one of our guests in the audience is somebody I haven't seen in many years, I would like to take a 2-minute recess, if you'll let me, just to say hello. And then, but we'll do the closed session motion. And as individuals are leaving, if you'll give me that just brief time. But the military student identifier data is not a public record. On behalf of this council, I will be requesting the data to be shared with each council member so that we are knowledgeable about the scope of military-connected children in our state and the council can perform its duties in a way that best serves the children in our Commonwealth. In order to do so, I move that the Virginia Council on the Interstate Compact on Educational Opportunity for Military Children, hereafter referred to as the Virginia Council, convene in closed session pursuant to 2.2-3711A2 of the Code of Virginia to discuss matters that would involve the disclosure of scholastic records of Virginia students and the disclosure of data collected from the identification of uniformed services connected students, which is prohibited by Section 22.1-287.04D. Do I have a second? A second by Senator Locke. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, we are moving into closed session. I'd like to thank all of our guests for being here, and we will start closed session in 2 minutes, I promise. Okay, I move that the Virginia Council adopt a resolution certifying that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting which the certification resolution applies. And two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed session were heard, discussed, or considered by the council. In accordance with the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, we shall call a roll call vote on this resolution. And so I will call each member individually. So first, I need a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Willen, second by Dr. Brown. So we will call the roll one by one. Dr. Jalen Hall?
Yes.
Secretary Jabs?
Aye.
Senator Locke? Mr. Willen? Delegate Guy? Dr. Brown?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. So again, I want to thank everyone for being at our council meeting today and look forward to continuing to support our military-connected students. We made a decision at a previous council meeting to meet twice a year, and that would typically be around this time of year and again in April as we prepare for Military Connected Students Month. So we will see you all in April. Thank you for being with us.